Hello, and a very warm welcome to Japan Lyric Room.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here.
In this show, we take our time to, deeply appreciate the lyrics of Japanese songs.
Yeah.
It's a calm, gentle lyric exploration where we uncover the meanings hidden within each phrase.
Right. And we also look at the unique Japanese cultural background behind the words, just delivering it in a way that's really easy to understand.
Exactly. We really want you to savor the lyrics with this lyric analysis today. And today we are looking at an absolute legend of a track.
Oh, we really are? It's a big one.
It's massive.
Right.
We're talking about Butterfly by Koji Wada, which was originally released on April 23, 1999.
Yeah, late 90s. Such an incredible era for this kind of music.
It really was. And it is absolutely crucial that we mention right up front, this is the iconic theme song for the beloved anime Digimon Adventure.
I mean, for an entire generation of kids, like all around the globe, this song was just the literal anthem of their childhood.
Oh, for sure. It meant Saturday mornings, digital monsters, and just pure adventure.
Yeah.
But, well, before we actually get into the lyric exploration itself, we have to talk about the man behind the microphone.
Yeah, we really do. Because you just can't separate the lyrical weight of this song from Koji Wada's actual real-life story.
Right. His personal journey is so deeply tied to it.
It is. His story is, well, it's incredibly tragic, but profoundly inspiring at the same time. You know, to his fans and his peers, he is reverently known as the Immortal Butterfly and a song singer.
Which is such a powerful title to hold.
It really is. But in 2003, right at the height of his career, he was diagnosed with nasopharyngeal cancer.
Oh man, just right at his peak.
Yeah, exactly. And for years, he fought this truly heroic, grueling battle against the illness. I mean, he was forced to go on hiatus, undergo these severe treatments, make a comeback, and then, go on hiatus all over again.
Oh, just constantly fighting just to be able to stand on a stage.
Exactly. And tragically, he passed away on April 3rd, 2016, at the very young age of 42.
That is just heartbreakingly young.
It really is. But what gives you absolute chills as a listener is how his voice physically changed over those years.
Right, because the treatments affected him directly.
Yeah, so he started out in 1999 with this clear, piercing, really youthful high tone. But later in life, because of the cancer and the intense radiation, his voice got noticeably raspy.
It lost that smooth polish, right?
Exactly. It became this raw, kind of soul-squeezing sound. He was basically physically mirroring the very lyrics of Butterfly. Like he was visibly struggling to fly with damaged wings, but he just absolutely refused to stay grounded.
I literally get chills just thinking about that. Knowing what he went through, these lyrics just hit completely differently now.
They really do take on a whole new life.
So our mission today is to go chronologically through 7 beautifully crafted lines of this song and uncover the Japanese nuances and life lessons hidden within.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning.
All right, so let's look at the very first phrase. And translated to English, that's becoming a cheerful butterfly, catching the sparkling wind.
But, cheerful feels just a little too simple for what the lyricist is actually doing here.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's more to it.
There is. The cultural nuance here is, becoming a cheerful butterfly in the best of moods, let's catch the sparkling wind and go meet you.
Oh, I love the imagery there. And the word gokigen is such a uniquely evocative word in Japanese, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, gokigen is this slightly retro, intensely positive word. It doesn't just mean you're having a good day. It means being in an absolute impenetrable state of joy.
Like you're completely in your own zone.
Exactly. You're in your zone without caring at all about what other people think or any outside judgments. You're just unbothered. And then that is paired with the word kirameku.
Which means sparkling, right?
Right, it translates to sparkling. But linguistically, in this kind of poetic context, it doesn't mean like a steady, reliable light from a lamp. It implies a fleeting but incredibly strong brilliance, sort of like a sudden sprout of hope catching the sunlight.
That makes me think about the actual life cycle of a butterfly, Like a butterfly doesn't just spawn into existence with beautiful wings.
No, it has to go through the whole process.
Exactly. It spends its early life crawling on the ground, super vulnerable, and then it has to endure this dark, cramped space inside the chrysalis.
Right, just total confinement.
Yeah. And it endures all that darkness just to seize that one fleeting moment of kirameku, that sparkling brilliance in the sun. It perfectly mirrors Wada enduring the darkness of his treatments just to get back out onto that sparkling stage.
Wow, that is a really beautiful way to frame it. The silent struggle in the dark is what makes that sudden flight possible.
But, if you're this butterfly, finally out of the chrysalis, you have to catch that wind. And to do that, you have to be light. You have to shed the extra weight.
Which brings us perfectly to the next phrase.
Right, phrase 2. And in English, that translates to, it's better to forget about unnecessary things.
And looking at the societal context, the nuance shifts slightly. The cultural nuance is, if you're going to worry about all those unnecessary things, it's much better to just forget them altogether.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here and push back a little.
Oh, go for it.
So forget unnecessary things. If we are looking at this as a song that adults can relate to, isn't it a bit irresponsible to just tell an adult to forget things? I mean, you have real-world responsibilities, mortgages, endless emails, rent.
Yeah, that is a very natural reaction. And it really raises the question of how we define the word unnecessary.
Right, because rent is definitely necessary.
Exactly. It's definitely not about dodging your actual material responsibilities. The key here is the Japanese word mashi.
Mashi, what does that imply?
Well, mashi is a very pragmatic, realistic compromise. It literally translates to better than the alternative. So it's not saying forgetting is some enlightened, perfect state.
Oh, I see. It's more grounded.
Right. It's acknowledging that we're flawed humans. It's saying that discarding these unnecessary things, which in Japanese society, and honestly globally, means the crushing weight of keeping up appearances, suffocating societal pressures, the fear of expectations.
So discarding those things is better than the alternative of being completely crushed by them.
Exactly. That's the mashi.
Ah, okay, that makes so much more sense. So it's about ignoring the invisible script. You know, the voice that says you have to reach a certain title by age 30 or act a specific rigid way.
Yeah, it's about shedding the illusions of what you think you should be doing so you can move forward with honesty about what you actually want to do.
But stripping away that armor, shedding those illusions, it leaves you vulnerable. And when you finally look at the world around you without that armor, reality isn't exactly a colorful fairy tale.
No, it really isn't. And he captures that stark reality in the next phrase.
Yeah, phrase 3. Translated, that means, in an empty world after the infinite dreams.
And the full cultural nuance paints a very specific picture. In a world that feels empty after we finish dreaming our infinite dreams.
This line always stops me in my tracks. Like, what is the significance of the dream being over? Why start the adventure after the infinite dream?
This is where the lyrical genius of the song truly shines. Honestly, think about most inspirational pop songs.
They're usually about chasing the dream.
Right, exactly. Reaching for the stars, fighting for a bright future. But this song does something entirely different. It uses the aftermath of the dream as its starting line.
Ah, that's so true.
It is fundamentally acknowledging that the grand, naive dream of childhood has already ended.
That completely shifts the perspective. Because if you think about it, for you, the listener, and especially the fans who grew up with Digimon, you're an adult now.
Right. You aren't a kid running around a digital world anymore.
No, you're an adult commuting on a crowded train, sitting in a cubicle, dealing with taxes, and that day-to-day reality often feels incredibly mundane or even empty compared to those massive childhood aspirations.
Precisely. By acknowledging that empty reality right off the bat, the song stops being just a nostalgic childhood fantasy. It matures into this deeply grounded, cheering song for adults.
It meets you exactly where you are.
Yeah, in the sometimes disappointing gray reality of adulthood.
And well, standing in that empty reality, it's natural to feel inadequate or afraid to even try moving forward.
It's terrifying, really.
Right. And Wada speaks directly to that hesitation with his next lyric. Phrase 4 is translated, even with unreliable wings full of images that tend to stay.
The cultural nuance here really drills into that feeling. It is, even with these weak, unreliable wings that are full of images that tend to keep you stuck, settling for the status quo.
There's an English word right in the middle of that Japanese sentence, stay.
Yeah.
That feels very intentional.
It is a brilliant, disruptive use of language. Using a foreign word disrupts the flow, much like hesitation disrupts our lives.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, and in this context, stay means stagnation. It represents the heavy mental brakes we subconsciously apply because we are terrified of failure. Like anxiety saying, don't take the risk, just stay where you are, it's safer.
Just settle for the status quo.
Right, and because of those mental images of failure, your wings, meaning your courage, feel teirunai, which means fundamentally weak or unreliable.
And this is where the art and the artist intersect so emotionally. Because later in his life, his unreliable wings were no longer just a metaphor.
No, they weren't. His physical voice, his wings, was failing him due to the cancer. It was objectively weak.
And yet he kept singing. It's just staggering.
It turns a lyric of absolute vulnerability into this incredible battle cry.
But, you know, as everyday people, when we feel that unreliable, our first instinct is usually self-preservation. We want to protect ourselves by hiding behind safe communication.
We definitely do. And the lyricist calls out this exact defense mechanism flawlessly in the next phrase.
Yes, phrase 5. Translated, that is, ambiguous words are surprisingly convenient.
And the nuance here exposes what we're actually doing. Vague, ambiguous words can actually be quite convenient as a way to avoid confronting things.
I mean, I feel personally attacked by this line. It is just so incredibly relevant to modern adult life.
Oh, we all do. What's fascinating here is the sheer irony. Calling ambiguity convenient is actually a sharp satire. It's holding a mirror up to how adults survive by hiding their true feelings.
We use vague language as a shield.
Exactly. So we don't have to commit or risk being wrong or getting hurt by being genuine.
It's like the modern habit of sending a maybe RSVP to a party you have absolutely no intention of attending.
Yes. Or using corporate jargon in an email.
Oh, like saying, let's circle back on this, just to avoid ever taking a firm stance.
Perfectly said. We just float in this non-committal gray area.
But reading this lyric in the context of the whole song, it feels intentionally cold. It feels cynical. Why put such a cynical line in an uplifting song?
Because that coldness, that cynical suppression of your true self, is the tension that sets up the explosive chorus. You endure hiding your feelings in ambiguous words until you just can't take the inauthenticity anymore.
So the pressure builds until you have to break out.
Right. You cannot reach any infinite dream if you are constantly hiding behind convenient words.
So, to stop hiding, we have to be willing to look a little foolish. We have to strip away the jargon and step outside the norm. Which brings us to the internal shift in phrase 6.
This is a really beautiful moment in the song.
Translated, yeah, stepping outside common sense isn't so bad.
The cultural nuance paints this as a moment of quiet acceptance. Yeah, maybe it's not so bad to step outside of society's common sense after all.
Let's break down Joshiki Hazure. Outside common sense.
Right, Joshiki translates to common sense, but in Japan, it carries a much heavier societal weight. It implies the strict, unwritten rules of how you're supposed to behave.
Like the timeline your life is supposed to follow.
Exactly. So Joshiki Hazure means stepping outside of those rigid societal expectations. But the tone here isn't some loud punk rock rebellion. It is a quiet, positive resolve to follow your own path.
That answers a question I've always had. Because the melody here is almost sweet. It sounds so gentle.
It's written like a personal murmur in the mirror.
Yeah.
For modern people feeling like they're failing because they don't fit the common sense timeline, this line acts like a friend whispering, it's okay to be different.
It's pure validation. And it's that quiet validation that allows the butterfly to finally transform its wings for the final flight. The chrysalis is fully broken.
Yes, the final transformation.
Which brings us to our 7th and final phrase today. Translated. Even with awkward wings that have painted over the image of staying.
And to bring the whole emotional arc home, the final cultural nuances, even with these awkward, unrefined wings that have transformed the fear of stopping into courage.
So let's contrast this with the wings from earlier. Before they were Tairinai and Unreliable, now they are Gikochinai. What's the profound difference there?
This is where everything comes together. Tairinai meant weak and unreliable. You were paralyzed by fear. But Gikochinai means awkward or unrefined. And it's paired with the verb sameta, meaning dyed or painted over.
So it's an active transformation.
Yes. The wings are no longer passively weak. They are awkward because they are actively struggling and flapping by their own sheer will. They aren't pretty, but they are working.
So to summarize the true essence of Butterfly based on everything we've uncovered, it is definitively not a song about soaring gracefully into a perfect sky.
Not at all.
It's about flapping awkwardly, clumsily, but fiercely. It's a perfect mirror to Wada himself, gripping the microphone until the very end, using his unrefined, damaged wings to sing his heart out.
Exactly. And to leave you, the listener, with a final thought, pop culture is rarely just disposable entertainment. The Digimon may have disappeared into the digital sky decades ago, but this immortal song remains as our courage to fight in the battlefield of everyday adult life.
The battlefield of everyday life. I love that.
Yeah. It asks us, where are you holding back because you're afraid of looking clumsy? Because if you have the resolve to walk your own unrefined path, anyone can become that cheerful butterfly riding the sparkling wind.
What a beautifully profound place to leave it. Thank you so much for listening to us again today.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
We pick up various Japanese songs and update our website with detailed lyric explorations. For those of you who want to savor the lyrics even more deeply, please be sure to check out the website from the link in the description.
Definitely check it out.
And if you enjoyed this show, we would love it if you could subscribe or follow the channel. Also, if you have any thoughts or requests for songs you'd like us to cover next, please let us know in the comments. We'll see you next time. This has been Japan Lyric Room.